So day 4 began in Bastogne in Belgium, and once again we were back on the trail of Easy Company. Our first port of call was to the Easy Company Memorial in the Ardennes. You might recognise the memorial. It's the same as the one in Normandy in France, same design. Now, for a bit of context as to what happened in the Ardennes forest and what happened during the Battle of the Bulge, I think it's worth reading out what it says on the plaque. May the world never forget. In the wood behind this monument, on the 20th of December 1944, E Company of the 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division US Army, dug their foxholes in the Beaujolais as part of the defence perimeter of Bastogne city that would soon be surrounded by several enemy divisions. The circumstances were dreadful, with constant mortar, rocket and artillery fire, snowfall, temperatures far below 0 degrees Celsius at night, with little food and ammunition. The field hospital had been captured, so little medical help was available. On December 24th, the E Company position was attacked at dawn by about 45 enemy soldiers. The attack failed and E Company held their position with 1 casualty against 23 of the enemy. The position of E Company was twice bombed and strafed by American P-47s. During the period of January 9th to January 13th, E Company suffered its most casualties, ending with the attack and capture of Foy on January 13th. 8 were killed in Foy and 6 earlier. During the whole period, 32 were wounded and another 21 were evacuated with cold weather illness. In many units involved in the defence of Bastogne, the casualties were even greater. This monument is dedicated to all that fought and is symbolic of what happened to other units during the Battle of the Bulge. Airborne always, men of Easy Company. On the other side of the memorial, the plaque gives the name of some of the men killed in the Ardennes. Now, you probably know some of them. If you watched Band of Brothers, you'll know the name John Julian, Muck and Pencolla. They were killed when a shell hit their foxhole, and Donald Hubler died when the revolver he had in his pocket went off. This was also where Joe Toye and Bill Garnier's war ended. Both of them lost a leg in the Ardennes as well. So having seen the memorial, we moved on up the road. It's probably 500 or 600 metres up to the actual Beaujolais part of the Ardennes forest. So that was our next stop. We finally made it to the Beaujolais forest in the Ardennes, where Easy Company were stationed over Christmas 1944, New Year 45. We're looking at some of the foxholes that would have been in. You can still see the remains of the foxholes here. It's hard to think that back then they were in the freezing cold, in the snow, artillery shells bombarding all around them. You can still see the remains of a lot of the foxholes. Crazy. You'd wonder how they endured what they had to endure back then. Absolutely crazy. After leaving the Foxholes, we made our way down to the small village of Foy. Now, this is the village that Easy Company took on the 13th of January 1945. And from Band of Brothers as well, you'll remember that Winters relieved Lieutenant Dyke of command of Easy Company and put Ronald Spears in charge. Now, this is the building that there was a sniper in the top window, and Darrell Shifty Powers took him out after Carwood Lipton distracted him. So if you look around the window, you can still see the bullet holes there from that day. I actually thought the building was derelict, but while we were there, a postman pulled up and put a post in the letterbox, so obviously there's someone still living there. So from Foy it was back to the museum in Bastogne. Now if you ever get a chance, go and visit this place. The museum is excellent. There's to tell the story of the Battle of the Bulge through the eyes of a schoolboy, a school teacher, an American GI and a German officer. As you're going around the museum, they have different rooms set up with props or stages that tell the story of the individuals and how their lives are intertwined and how they come together at the end. And it tells the story of the siege of Bastogne and what happened around the Ardennes as well. It's really excellent, and if you get a chance, do go and visit it. Look, what can I say? Overall, the experience in Bastogne was excellent. From the Foxholes in the Ardennes, just even just to walk around and stand in one of the Foxholes and just to look around and take it all in, it's really something special. Then to go down to the village of Foy, it's only a small village. You'd wonder how there was so much activity and so much happened around there back in 1944-45, and then to go on to the museum and hear all the history of the place. It really was excellent. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. Now, just where Bastogne itself is actually a lovely town. It's a really nice town, and the place we stayed in, La Villa Bastogne, I think is the name of it. I'll leave a link in the description. The couple that owned the B&B were excellent. They couldn't have done enough for us. There was parking in the garage for the bikes. She let us leave our luggage and stuff in the room until we had all our touring done and came back and picked it up later that day. So look, Bastogne was really excellent, a good experience, and highly recommend it. If any are thinking of doing that, definitely go for it. It's well worth doing. So after Bastogne, we were on our way to the Nürburgring for Gary wanted to get out on the ring before it closed that evening. Oh, and just before I forget, Bastogne is actually pronounced Bastogne in Belgium, and the village of Foy is actually pronounced Foy. So every day is a school day, you learn something every day. So it was off to Germany, to the Nürburgring, for Gary to fulfill his main goal of the trip, to do a lap of the ring. I think I'll finish this video up here, and I'll continue on with the Nürburgring in the next video. So that's all for now. See you in the next one.